40 Modern Studies for Clarinet by James Rae has some very good pieces for student getting into jazz pieces. By the time you get to Flying Overland, there's been a few already, and this kind of continues on the complexity. Now, despite the fact there's a bit of repetition at the beginning, the middle section is where the interest is. So I'm just going to play the piece right through, and then I'll break down some of the interesting aspects of this piece. So this is Flying Overland. So Flying Overland is a 4/4 piece. It's swing, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and typical of James Rae's pieces, there's a lot of repetition. So we have an 8-bar phrase, the da, do ba do ba. We repeat it again, so 16 bars. Then he has this cool bit in the middle, bit of repetition again, so it's another 16 bars. And then he goes back to the original, the opening phrase, and repeats it again. So in the end, there isn't too many bars of music in this piece, there's just a lot of repetition. Okay, so from the beginning, we have a marcato at the end of the bar. So because there's a slur to it, we have to kind of breath accent it. Da 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 ha, da da da. You want to push with the stomach muscles, try and punch that note out. So marcatos, they're the hats. They're like a punchy, they're like an accent and a staccato mixed together. So it's got quite shortness, detachment generally, except for the end of a slur, and it's got that punch. Okay, we have a lot of rests too. The last thing you want to do is breathe at every one of those rests, because you are just going to suck up so much air you're not going to be able to get rid of it. So you've got a couple of strategies. If you have accidentally taken in too much air, you can actually let air out in those breaks. Okay, just let out air silently, and then you can just kind of get your lungs back to a sense of neutrality so you're not starting to hyperventilate. Okay, so the middle section, this is where the real fun is. Okay, we have a 4-bar phrase. Ideally, we just play those 4 bars, no breaths, or 1 breath, all the way to the end. You don't want to break up the music into little pieces by breathing too much. So even if we went slowly, we want to avoid the temptation to breathe just for 5 notes. Okay, articulation. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. So we have a bit of a mixture here. It makes it quite complicated. So we start off with a tongue, we then slur, a whole bunch of staccatos, then a tenuto as long as possible, tongue note, ta, then an accent, ba, and then it's a long note, back to slurs again, tu, and then a breath accent, da da da. So it's in slow motion. Okay, so there's a lot going on there. We then continue. It's the same idea. So notice again, I've continued that for the entire 4 bars. We've done a 4-bar phrase. Then we keep on going. So you've heard that before, right? kind of the same phrasing again, but with a slightly different finale. And then we have the lead-in to, which is essentially the beginning again. Etc. Alright. What else we got? Yes, the left hand C. We have a bunch of E flat and C. It is incredibly important that you do not slide from the right hand C to a right hand E flat. That is no good at speed. You cannot pull that off. What you really need to do is get that left hand C involved. It's quite a tricky fingering when you first start off. It's kind of tucked away back there, but I assure you, after a bit of practice, it'll become second nature. It's quite easy to reach, and it is imperative that it's learnt in order to get to that E flat. And there are 4 places where this gets used. Left hand C. Left hand C. Alright, we're at the very end of the line. The next line down has that E flat, so you're going to have to start penciling these LHs everywhere, your left hand, just to warn you, hey, by the way, that next line is going to be an E flat. Okay, and there's another one later on. Alright, so I quite like to ham up the jazzy aspect of this, so once you've played through the piece a few times, you got really good at basically what's written, you can have a bit of fun with it. And that is Flying Overland by James Rae.